Good evening. Welcome to California Today. I'm Ling Zhang. Here's a preview of some of today's stories. PG&E paid out a large sum of money in a settlement over their alleged responsibility in massive wildfires in recent years, but they denied any wrongdoing. And Elon Musk stirred some concern about Twitter over the weekend. He refused a board position, and now people are speculating if he may be considering a takeover. And also in Southern California, USPS suspended the services to one part of the city of Santa Monica. In a letter, they said the safety of their mail carriers was at risk. We'll look at what we know about who is making the threats. A major utility company allegedly responsible for the major wildfires in Northern California has agreed to pay $55 million to avoid criminal prosecution. The company will also submit to 5 years of oversight in an attempt to prevent more deadly blazes. Here's more on the settlement.
Pacific Gas and Electric, or PG&E, announced a $55 million settlement on Monday with district attorneys representing 6 Northern California counties. The settlement involves allegations that PG&E's power lines were responsible for the 2019 Kincaid Fire and the 2021 Dixie Fire. No criminal charges will be filed in the Dixie Fire, and the criminal complaint regarding the Kincaid Fire will be dismissed. But the utility still faces criminal charges for a 2020 wildfire in Shasta County that killed 4 people. The civil settlements would accelerate payments to hundreds of people whose homes were destroyed so they can start rebuilding more quickly. The agreement also includes helping local nonprofits and supporting community colleges to expand their wildfire safety training. In a statement, the CEO of PG&E said, "We respect the leadership of the local DAs, welcome the new level of transparency and accountability afforded by these agreements, and look forward to working together for the benefit of the communities we collectively serve." PG&E will also be subjected to 5 years of independent oversight. It will not seek recovery of the costs from customers. The Dixie Fire burned nearly 1 million acres and destroyed more than 1,300 homes and other buildings. The blaze started last July when a tree hit electrical distribution lines in the Sierra Nevada. The company has been blamed for more than 30 wildfires since 2017 that wiped out more than 23,000 homes and businesses and killed more than 100 people.
Things seem to be getting spicy between Elon Musk and Twitter. The outspoken CEO of Tesla was set to join the social media platform's board of directors, but abruptly stepped back. Commentators speculated on the potential political jostling going on for the company. At the same time, Musk kept up his provocative tweets about the company.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk was, at least for a moment, the largest investor in Twitter. He was invited to join the social media giant's board of directors, but backed out of the position over the weekend.
We ultimately believe this turns from a Cinderella story, which would have been if Musk was in the board, to more of a Game of Thrones. I think Musk potentially could go hostile here, continue to increase his stake, maybe partner with the likes of private equity or others. And this could lead to, what could be the ultimate acquisition of Twitter or some forced strategic changes, including the board. I think it just came down to Musk was not going to play nice in the sandbox with the Twitter board.
Neither Musk nor Twitter CEO Parag Agrawal gave a reason for the abrupt change. Analysts speculated that it was because of an investment limitation for board members.
I think, it has a number of implications for the company. I think first and foremost, it means that, again, Elon Musk is now no longer tied to having a 14.9% maximum stake. I think all said and done here, I do believe a big reason why he was kind of given a seat to the board of directors was because the management team kind of felt like they can handcuff him in many respects. And now, again, that's no longer the case.
Musk ran several polls through the platform recently, including whether the company adhered to free speech and if it needs an edit button. He also polled if Twitter's San Francisco headquarters should be converted into a homeless shelter, which fellow billionaire and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos joined in brainstorming ideas.
We personally think he's more likely to increase his stake here over time, potentially act as more of an activist role, looking to potentially influence change, whether it be changing members of the management team over time, or looking to change members of the board. But over time, clearly he didn't want to keep that stake under 15% and be a member of that board. And there has to be a reason in that.
Currently, Musk holds just over 9% of Twitter shares. But the Associated Press reported that the top holder is investment juggernaut Vanguard. Recent investment filings show the company holds 10.3% of Twitter. Nonetheless, there is still talk of a Musk takeover.
I think for the Twitter board and for the company, I think this is not a good situation. Ultimately, they had a lion that was caged in Musk, potentially on the board, women ownership. Now it's sort of that lion's in the wild. And in terms of for the board and for Twitter, I think it's just the start of what's going to be a hostile situation.
Musk said on April 4th that he intends to bring significant improvements to free speech for Twitter. The platform has banned former President Donald Trump and Project Veritas founder James O'Keefe.
I would just say I think the next focus is Musk's filings. Does he increase his Twitter stake? I think that's what the street's going to be focused on. Does he increase or decrease? We believe this is just the start of a soap opera playing out, and to get out the popcorn time.
Musk also suggested changes to the Twitter Blue Premium subscription service, including slashing its price, banning ads, and providing a payment option in the cryptocurrency Dogecoin.
Change is coming to one of the biggest school districts in the nation. The new superintendent plans to improve the district within 100 days.
The LA Unified School District Superintendent Alberto Carvalho presented his 100-day plan to the Los Angeles City Council earlier this month. It will include developing a 5-year strategic map that hasn't existed in the district for more than 7 years, Carvalho said. He also wants to get more teachers in schools immediately, saying there are 400 open positions in some of the most academically fragile, highest poverty schools in this district. There are also plans for a new summer school program, as well as closing achievement gaps among students with different backgrounds. Carvalho began his 4-year contract with the school district in February after working with public schools. He has plans for a cultural arts passport, allowing kids in LA access to artistic venues and museums.
One neighborhood in Santa Monica will not be receiving postal service from the USPS until further notice. But even local police aren't fully in the loop on the situation. Let's take a look at what prompted the decision.
Santa Monica residents located on the 1300 block of 14th Street received a letter from the U.S. Postal Service, or USPS, on April 7th. The letter said, "The safety of our employees and of the mail they deliver to you is our highest concern. Until we can ensure the safety of both, delivery services will remain suspended." It's unclear when the services for paper mail will resume, but packages are still being delivered to the neighborhood. Residents are encouraged to pick up their mail at the post office on 7th Street. The suspension comes after a local resident reportedly attacked a mail carrier with a broomstick on the 1300 block of 14th Street on January 19th. A USPS spokesperson said there have been 3 separate incidents with 3 different carriers in the neighborhood over the past few months. Erica Aklufi from the Santa Monica Police Department told the Epoch Times in an email, USPS issued the letter and as far as we know, did not contact our department before sending it. I tried calling the 2 phone numbers on the letter. One went unanswered and the other had a voice mailbox that is full. Aklufi said Santa Monica police officers are familiar with the suspect who allegedly assaulted a USPS mail carrier. Other incidents of USPS mail carriers being attacked were not identified.
We're going to take a short break, but here's a look at what we got for you when we come back. Scorching temperatures in Southern California are not stopping beachgoers from the sands and waves. Even though it's just spring, Los Angeles saw triple-digit temperatures in some areas. A pair of mountain lions was spotted in a Bay Area town, and police say they're out of their usual habitat. Residents are warned to not approach them. And the baby of an eagle family that's live streaming 24/7 is beginning to flap its wings. We'll get an update on how baby bald eagle Spirit is doing. That and more on California Today after the break. California saw warm temperatures up and down the state last week. In Southern California, beachgoers enjoyed some time in the sun and cooled off in the ocean waters.
Southern California beaches were packed on Friday as the region baked in record-breaking temperatures.
It is. It's beautiful, but it's a little worrisome. I hope it's not a sign that this is going to be regular. But it's great. It's a good day for the beach.
On the beaches of Santa Monica, residents took to the surf, built sand castles, and soaked in the sun as temperatures climbed to 91 degrees Fahrenheit.
It is very unusual. Even the ocean is warm, and it's April. So we definitely take advantage and come here where the air is cleaner and, of course, this beautiful, beautiful beach. Definitely something you just don't get in April very often.
Over the past few days, temperatures have been rising across Los Angeles County, pushing the heat up to triple digits in some areas.
Well, we're cooling off in that body of water you see to your right. No, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful day. It's warm, but not crazy warm.
Some beachgoers enjoyed the warmer weather.
Heaven. So much better than freezing cold temperatures. No, it's wonderful for somebody from Minnesota, probably half of the people that live out here.
One visitor said the temperature was mild compared to his hometown.
No, for heat is okay. This is very mild, very pleasant for us because where we are coming from Istanbul is normal.
Last Thursday, Los Angeles International Airport registered a record high of 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and Long Beach saw 101 degrees, according to the National Weather Service. Heat advisories were in effect until last Friday evening. Temperatures have dropped over the weekend, with highs only in the 60s on Monday. The rest of the week is expected to hover in the 70s.
A pair of mountain lions were spotted in Northern California, but out of their typical habitat. Local police are warning residents to be careful.
The San Mateo Police Department released this video showing a pair of mountain lions on camera. They said that the lions made at least 3 appearances this week on King Ridge Drive, which isn't too far from Sugarloaf Mountain. It's also close to a park and nearby schools. The police are warning the public in a tweet, watch out for small pets, avoid feeding deer, and never approach a mountain lion.
Commercial real estate giant Unibail-Rodamco Westfield is planning to sell its U.S. locations. That includes those in California.
Unibail-Rodamco Westfield, or URW, plans to sell most, if not all, its U.S. malls. The French-based company owns the upscale Westfield San Francisco and Century City in Los Angeles, among many other centers, including malls in Ventura, Topanga, and San Diego. In 2021, the company said it would reduce its U.S. presence close to zero due to growing debt resulting from pandemic lockdowns. The corporation's U.S. portfolio was valued at $13 billion last year, Reuters reported. In the company's 2021 earnings report, the CEO said, "We have made progress in our plans to radically reduce U.S. financial exposure, as announced in the course of 2022 and 2023. URW reported strong 2021 sales in the United States, rebounding after the restrictions on in-person activities were lifted. The group says it will shift towards building its European market."
An instrument which carried the anthem of Generation X is going up for auction. Though the guitar was made famous in a Seattle grunge band, it is currently on display at a Beverly Hills auction house. Here's a look at the highly sought-after guitar and how much it may go for.
The 90s, for many growing up in it, was synonymous with MTV and Smells Like Teen Spirit. Now, the guitar which showed up in the music video for that song, Kurt Cobain's iconic blue guitar, is going up for auction.
This is one of the most iconic guitars ever to come to the auction block. This is the blue Mustang Fender guitar, one of Kurt Cobain's favorite guitars of all time. And of course, this is the guitar that Kurt Cobain made famous in that video, Smells Like Teen Spirit, back in 1991, won many awards.
And there is much prestige that goes along with owning such a guitar.
This guitar, we have it conservatively estimated at a price range of $600,000 to $800,000. Again, that's a very conservative auction estimate.
Nolan emphasized the originality of the sale, including other accessories that come with the instrument.
You know, the guitar comes with its original case and also the guitar strap, so that's, you know, really important to collectors when they come to the auction to know the originality. The guitar has stayed with the family ever since Kurt passed away. In fact, it's been on display at the M-Pop Museum in Seattle since 2010. Again, it was a huge attraction there.
The auction will also include other pieces of Cobain memorabilia, like a drawing of Michael Jackson, his 1965 Dodge Dart, and a skateboard.
So back in the 1980s, when before Kurt became famous, he was doing artwork, trying to raise money. He was staying in a friend's house, and he was doing this art deck for skateboards. So the intention was to do artwork for skateboards and T-shirts as a way of raising money. And so this is a great piece. We estimated $20,000 to $40,000 on this.
The auction will take place online at Julien's Music Icons Auction from May 20th to 22nd in New York.
Rude people can push people's buttons, but apparently it was the right one for a Los Angeles woman, quite literally. After a person bumped into her, she pushed a button that made her an instant millionaire.
Last November, LaKadra Edwards put $40 into a lottery scratcher's vending machine at a Vons supermarket in Los Angeles County. While she was about to start selecting which game she wanted, she said some rude person bumped into her. Edwards accidentally pushed the wrong number on the machine and ended up with another ticket that she had no intention of buying. Once she was in her car, she started scratching the ticket, the one she was literally pushed into buying, and discovered she just won the game's top prize of $10 million. Edwards said, "I didn't really believe it at first, but I got on the 405 freeway and kept looking down at the ticket, and I almost crashed my car." She plans to buy a house and start a nonprofit organization with the money.
The baby eagle we've been following for over a month now is learning how to flap its wings. The practicing will help build up strength for the fateful first flight.
Spirit, the bald eaglet, is now 5 weeks old and growing by the day. Spirit is living in a nest about 45 feet above the ground in Southern California's Big Bear Valley. Friends of Big Bear Valley have been live streaming the mother, Jackie, and father, Shadow, since before the eggs were laid. The team hasn't announced if the newborn is male or female. Spirit's flight and contour feathers are now growing in, while picking at fish more often and preparing to feed itself soon. This morning, Spirit showed us its wingspan and practiced flapping to strengthen those mighty wings for its first flight. The first flight is generally between 10 and 14 weeks of age. After the first flight, Spirit will continue to visit the nest, possibly eat and sleep at home for a little while longer. But after that, Spirit will take off on its great adventure to explore new areas, learning and perfecting its hunting skills. Friends of Big Bear Valley stream the nest 24 hours a day from their website for those who can't get enough.
Now to NTD's Thomas Christian for an update on sports.
I'm Thomas Christian, giving you your California Today Sports Roundup. LeBron James anticipates changes this summer after the Los Angeles Lakers missed the playoffs for the 7th time in the past 9 seasons. James said Monday it's natural to begin the offseason thinking about what adjustments might be necessary to get the Lakers back to the NBA Finals. He said he's mulling any roster that can bring more wins in the 2022-23 season. James also said he respects head coach Frank Vogel, who was fired not long after the Jays met the media on Monday. It was announced that Vogel was to be fired minutes after the Lakers' last game of the season, and he had to find out by other media members asking him about it. He did not hear it from a Lakers official first. Despite the Lakers' 33-49 record, James averaged 30.3 points per game this season, becoming the first player to improve his career scoring average from the previous season in his 19th year. And he scored 30-plus points 34 times, easily setting another NBA record for a player in his 19th season. He's eligible for a contract extension with the Lakers this summer, but said Monday he hasn't had a conversation with the team about that deal. The Lakers won the 2020 NBA title in the bubble in Florida. All-Star teammate Anthony Davis said Sunday night he believes the duo can remain the center of a championship team, but admitted there is a need to understand what has changed for the team since the title. James concurred, pointing to health and the inability to keep the team's stars on the court as the reason for the 2021-22 disappointments. But the Lakers also missed their defensive identity from their bubble days. Then, they had two excellent rim protectors in JaVale McGee and a slightly younger Dwight Howard. Those two combined to keep teams out of the paint and block opponents' shots. In the bubble season, the Lakers also had much more bench depth. Most of the depth from that season was packaged up in a trade for Russell Westbrook, including Kyle Kuzma, Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, and Montrezl Harrell. LeBron James' co-star Anthony Davis played 40 games after just 36 games played last season, and an aging veteran roster assembled around the star nucleus was unable to pick up the slack. The fit between Russell Westbrook and LeBron James proved to be the most problematic, 25-30 in games where they shared the floor. The Lakers front office has been viciously critiqued for pushing the Lakers to pursue Russell Westbrook. They reportedly declined signing DeMar DeRozan or trading for Buddy Hield, two players who would have fit this team much better. James claimed his focus will be on getting ready for training camp, a team that entered the season with title aspirations and ended it with a 33-49 record, good for the 11th seed. They ended up missing the playoffs completely, as well as the NBA's new play-in tournament because they couldn't even rally up to 10th place. Many fans and media members alike have started calling this Lakers season the most disappointing season of all time.
And that's all for California sports. Back to you.
And that's all for tonight. You can join us again on California Today every weekday at 8:30 p.m. If you have any news tips or ideas for our show, or just want to let us know how we're doing, our email is california.today@ntd.com. I'm Liang Zhang. Have a wonderful evening.